We'll start out by thanking Kansas City for hosting and the NCAA for putting all the work on for this event. And we are happy to be back.
Awesome. We'll go here.
Abby Schnabel, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. This is for Bree and Olivia. This team has very high standards, but how does Dan and this coaching staff balance, keeping you guys to those standards while also, building you up, staying positive?
Bree, if you want to start.
That's a good question. I mean, in practice, he's always just enforcing us to have a high standard and have not so high expectations. And I think that just takes the pressure off of us in practice and in games, just to be like, we have a standard that we want to hold ourselves to. And it's not the end of the world if we don't hit those standards, but at the end of the day, we're trying to hit those every single day. But, yeah.
Yeah, I also, building off of that, I think that how individualized, our relationships are with Fish, I feel like he's able to have a really good personal relationship with us off the court, so then we always know that wherever he's coming from, when he's enforcing these standards, it's from a place of love, and it's because he knows that we're capable of reaching them, and I feel like just having that relationship with him off the court makes, the hard moments where he can maybe get upset sometimes a lot easier to get through.
Hey everyone, this is Megan Hall with USA Today. Good to see you all. This question is actually for Bree, and I have one for you as well, Liv. But Bree, can you talk to me about Liv's evolution over this season and just continuing to be one of the best players in the country? What have you seen from your lens?
Well, first, she's an amazing person. Two, at the beginning of this season, obviously she has been a backbone for this team, and she kind of just put this team on her shoulders and ran with it. And honestly, she's become an extraordinary leader on and off the court. She leads vocally so well with this team, knows what every single girl needs and wants to hear, and I'm just very, very proud of her.
And my question for you is, obviously there's a lot of pressure that comes with being at this stage, and we hear about that a lot, but what do you do to stay calm and I guess zen in the middle of what is ultimately the highest pressure of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just a reminder of who you're playing for and what you're playing for. I feel like this team, we're just fun, and this is my family, and every time I step on the court, it's just to have fun with my friends. And I think, obviously, it's hard to not give in to the pressure of these moments, but you just kind of look at your 6-foot world, we call it, which is just the people on the court, and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to feel any stress if I just remember that these are the people I'm constantly playing for.
Olivia, you and Logan Lidnicki were the only two college players on this Team USA team. What was that experience like for you playing with her as a teammate, and does it add an extra element to this game for you?
Yeah, I think it was a really good experience. Me and her definitely became really good friends over the course of the summer, and it was very clear that we were each other's biggest fans the entire time. We were always rooting each other on in practice. We were always trying to tell each other ways to be better and make a better decision in that situation. And just coming into tomorrow, I saw her earlier. It was a really good reunion, and I'm just really excited. I feel like both of us are at the top in the position, so I feel like just playing with her and against her is just going to make us both rise to that level, and I feel like I'm just really excited to see how good she's going to play tomorrow, because even though we are on opposite sides of the net and I want our team to win, I am always rooting for her as an individual, so we'll see. I'm excited.
Hi, this is for Olivia. Greg Eklund, this is for WESA, the NPR station in Pittsburgh. What makes this 2025 team different from the 2024 and 23 teams that went to the Final Four?
I think this is just, I feel like from an initial impression and what meets the eye, we definitely have a lot of new players and a lot of big shoes to fill. And I feel like just having that new aspect and a bunch of people who haven't been in this experience, I feel like just our growth as a team had to be a little more locked in on the growth, because from the beginning we just had to first get to know each other as people and get to know each other as players and just find out what everyone needs individually. And then I feel like just how much we've put in the work to become good teammates and work through hard situations. And I feel like this team has just been through so much, and we've had so many hardships throughout the season that we've been able to respond to and just get better from. And I think the work we put in every single day in the gym, it's a special group, so many new players, so many deserving people on this team, and I feel like we came a longer way from the beginning, because obviously completely new team, 23 and 24 were a lot of the same players, but this year we had to completely restart and we were able to gel really well, so I just love this team and I think they're really deserving.
PJ Green, Kansas City Star. For both of y'all, just going through the circuit, I know the volleyball circuit kind of takes you all around the country. How many times have you been to Kansas City, and kind of what memories do you have, if any, and just what do you think of the city overall?
I believe I've been to Kansas City 4 times, or 3 times, 2 being for the club tournaments back when we were in high school. And then I was here this summer watching one of my best friends graduate in this arena. So this place is beautiful. I love it. They have great food. Yes.
I would have to agree with the food aspect. It's amazing. I believe I've been here. This is where Triple Crown is located, right? Okay, yeah. So I've been here 3 times for Triple Crown as a player, and then I was recently here this spring to watch with Love. So I've been here 4 times. I really do like it. The food is definitely my favorite aspect, but I also feel like it's a really cool city when you really like actually get to explore. I feel like it's a lot more than meets the eye.
Okay. Bree, you and Olivia are 2 of 6 players in this field that have played in a Final Four. Do you think that gives you guys an advantage at all, knowing that 5 of those players have come from Pitt?
I'm confused.
Me too.
Sorry.
There are 6 players on the 4 teams that have played in a Final Four. Pitt has 5 of them. Do you think that that gives you guys an advantage at all?
Took me a second. Sorry. Got it. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
I think it does in a way. I feel like, again, this is a very new team, but since so many people have been here before, we were able to prepare the newer players coming into this experience what to expect, and we're also able to just remind them constantly that even though there will be a lot of media and a lot of different things that there typically wouldn't be in a regular game, to just stay locked in on the goal at hand, because it is very easy to get distracted by this, but I feel like those players are going to help our younger players and newer players be able to hone in on the task.
Matthew Scavalloni, the Pitt News, and to build off of that, does the feeling of playing in the Final Four change at all for you guys, or like do you feel like going to the Final Four more, like does it making it here? Do you have like different vibe going into it?
I'm personally just blessed to be in this opportunity that Fish has brought this team here. For him 5 times, for me and Liv 3 times. In the past years, I feel like we've always like made it a point that we have to like win the Final Four, but like this year we have really emphasized, especially with our sports psychologists, to play ball, because obviously we're trying to embrace this moment and be where our feet are, and like this game is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be like severely taxing on your mind and body. And so I think this year I've definitely come in being like, I just want to play volleyball with this team and like play it to the best ability that we can and have a blast on this court.
I would have to agree. I think it's an honor anytime we get to step on a Final Four stage. And I think how special this moment is definitely doesn't change just because we've been here in the past, but I think how locked in we are on just getting better and focusing on the practice that day and then the scout that night before actually thinking about just playing the game, I feel like just that definitely does change. I feel like we're a bit better about that, like Bree said.
Tedrick, with the volleyball project, this for Bree and Olivia. What is it like making the Final Four when you get back to your locker room, seeing your phone, hearing from family and friends? What is that like? And have you heard from some of your former teammates and peers?
Honestly, this is really cool. Like, we are one of 3 teams that have been here this many times, so with just that, it's super special. Actually, the other day, Liv was with me. I just graduated, and our former teammate Rachel Fairbanks called us because she was just like, "Oh my gosh, are we going again?" And she's just super excited to see that we got back to this point.
Yeah, I think it was such a special moment, and I don't know, I think it felt a little different this team just because of everyone's reactions. Like, I mean, for example, Brooke, I mean, she probably had the reaction of the game. She was so happy, and just seeing that, just, I don't know, it made me so happy just seeing how excited our teammates were and just seeing how, like, special it is, because even though, like, we have been here in the past, like, this is, like, a really huge deal, and I feel like we just need to remember to acknowledge that, and I feel like a lot of people definitely reached out to me and were like, congrats, this is huge. And yeah.
Darren Tipton, VBAdrenaline.com. I watched the Kentucky match in person, and even Coach Skinner himself said, when they play like that, nobody's touching them. But you've dominated some of the best teams in the country. and you run through the tournament, I mean, and everybody was talking about the other team, right, in Nebraska, but when you're playing like that, you guys feel like you are the best team? And for you guys, what's it like when you're firing on all cylinders, because you've had some pretty dominating wins over really some of the best teams in the country, and quite a few of them this year?
Yeah, I feel like in the moment, it doesn't feel like like you can obviously feel that you're dominating, but we're very locked in on like 1 point at a time, just make it this point. And I feel like so we're not really thinking about how much we're dominating the game more than just getting that point. And I feel like a focus that we've had this year was being good after 20 and just being able to really emphasize on that, because I feel like we haven't always been playing our best games up until that point, but once we got to that point, we were able to flip a switch, be like, you know what, it's just a matter of who's going to get to 25 first, and if we just lock in now and play the best points of our life for these next 5, we're going to find a lot of success. And I feel like that is something that has definitely helped us, especially in the tournament.
I also think we've done a really good job at, like, even when we're not 100% on, finding those points and finding a way to, like, win that match even when everything is not clicking on all cylinders. I think that's helped us a lot this year.
Olivia and Bree, I'm curious, Dan has turned this team into a perennial program that's making the Final Four. What kind of impact has he had on you, and how has he developed you as a player?
I actually said this earlier in another interview, but honestly, it's kind of weird for me to say this, but I feel like I look at Fish as like a second dad, even though I have a dad. Especially when I first got here, I had an injury, and he really just made a point of who he is as a person and the way he wanted me to grow as a young woman, not just a volleyball player. And so I think that's impacted me the most. He's an amazing person, and he genuinely cares about every single girl on this team and what they are going to produce to the world after. Like, he wants to make that impact on them and to make sure that we're just ready for what's to come after college. And so he's made me a better leader, a better communicator, better at trusting others, and I'm severely indebted to him, and I love you, Fish.
I could not say it. Oh, sorry. I could not say it better myself. I do agree he is like a second dad. We make jokes about that all the time. I feel like Fish has just cared about me so much more as an individual and more as a person than a volleyball player, which is refreshing because you don't always get that coming up. And I feel like Fish is definitely the first person I look to if I'm having a good day, a bad day. Like, he is probably my number one contact. I've gone to his office so many times, having like, Fish, I'm having a bad day. He is just such an inspiration, someone I look up to, and I would not want to play for anyone else. I feel like and obviously, yes, he has developed me as a player as well, but I feel like I'm a better person because of him, and it's really fun to play for him.
He's probably both of our emergency contacts.
Bria and Olivia, I haven't seen you since the AVCA first serve in Lincoln. So from TV viewing, it looks like Brooke has really developed a lot too. What have you seen from her growth throughout the season too? Bree, start with you.
She's just a really hard worker. She's always in the gym trying to get better. Personally, between me and her, we've had like a lot of conversations with our connection just off the court. And I have also said this in another interview, but I've like told her, like, kudos to you for taking on one of the hardest jobs a fifth-year setter could take on, because she's definitely like emphasized that she wanted to do this and to have all of our backs. And I think just over this past month and a half, she, as a middle and a setter, like, the connection needs to be there. And if it's not, then I don't know. But like, it's just, I'm very proud of her because she's like really wanted to, and she has, and she's shown all the work she's put in. And yeah, I'm just very proud of what she's accomplished over the past few months.
I agree. I think Brooke is a completely different player than when she first got here, and it's because every single day she's the first one in the gym and the last one out of it. The amount of time she takes to just lock in on those skills and get those skills that might have not been working the day before, and her, like, she just wants to build that connection so much, whether it's a 6-on-6 drill, whether it's hitting lines, any drill, she's just making sure that she's looking to the hitter and being like, hey, like, what do I need to change? What do you want better? And I feel like her emphasis on that relationship and the honesty of that connection is why it's been able to find so much success. And then also just taking more risks in game. I feel like in game is when you can learn the best, and I feel like she's willing to take those risks to build that connection. And I feel like it's been reflecting really well on her middle connection and just her overall game.
Take a couple more questions.
This is for Bree, and Bree, goes back to AVCA, and I'm going to paraphrase what Olivia had said after that weekend, where she was basically saying that you guys need to put pressure on opponents as opposed to having opponents put pressure on you. In retrospect, what did you guys take from that weekend, and was that kind of one of those things that you had applied?
Honestly, from that weekend, we had a lot to learn. Like, there's a bunch of aspects in our game that we needed to get better at and gel on the court with. Honestly, like, I think we're a really good serving team. We may have not been on day one, but and that's how you put instant pressure on another team, is serving tough. And I think that has gotten really well. And then obviously our offense and our defense, like at the beginning of the year throughout this entire season, I think our defense has been really good. That's been like our thing, was like go be big defensive, like whatever, big game. So I think that's just something that has grown over this entire season, is our serving and our defense. And obviously the offense came along with that.
For both of y'all, just for the growth of volleyball and women's sports in general, can y'all think back to when you were younger and just see that, and just kind of compare, and then seeing y'all now be the stars of your team, and Olivia, obviously you with all your accolades and performance getting the most attention, but just thinking back to when you were younger, could you imagine kind of the growth and the boom that it's seeing now, especially with the most viewership and all the record breakings and things like that?
Honestly, you got two girls that started volleyball pretty late in their career. So when I think about it, honestly, I was just playing volleyball back then. I was just like, oh, this is super fun. And I guess when I got a little bit closer to college, this sport has definitely grown. Like, I feel like a lot of these girls in college right now have huge impacts on younger girls' lives, and we're role models for them. And I don't really think that was as big of a case back when we were younger. Like, we just looked at them as, oh, they're superstars, but like now we're so connected with the community and with our following that I think it's just it's absolutely amazing.
I agree. It's just really inspirational to see how much people care about this sport. I feel like you just see so many little girls at your game just come up to you and be like, I started volleyball this week. I want to play like you. Like, you're the reason I decided to play. And I feel like just having that impact, like, it wasn't as much my freshman year, and just seeing how much the sport has grown in the past 2 years, like, that happens almost every game. And it's like, wow, like, we really have impacted a community. And also just the coverage of volleyball now, people want to see volleyball. People are arguing for volleyball to be shown. And I think just how much support, not only, like, I just feel like not only the volleyball players are the ones contributing to like making this a thing. Like, I feel like the fans and like the coaches, like, I feel like everyone is buying into making volleyball such a successful sport, and I think that's why it's been able to find so much success, especially this past year, like leagues and all of that. So I feel like it's just super cool to witness.
Olivia and Bree, we'll let you two go and shift to coaches. Questions for Coach.
Thanks.
You're free to go.
Oh, we're free to
Oh,
go.
we're free to go.
I thought you meant like you're done.
Thank you, guys.
That's not, I didn't know. We're free to go.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Take your time.
Good luck,
I can't continue to have them speak for me.
All right.
That was going well.
We'll get going with questions for Coach, starting over here.
Hey, Coach, right here in the front row. There you go. Megan Hall with USA Today. Pitt is essentially in the driver's seat now. This is a fifth straight Final Four. So my question to you is, what is your message to your team to continue to put that, like, I guess essentially the pedal to the metal?
The main message is just to stay in the moment, and along with that, we were touching on it earlier about what's different about this team, and I think there's just, when we're playing our best, we're really good, and so just knowing that we don't know what the outcome will be, but we certainly know how good we can be, and so just trying to be ourselves.
Abby Schnabel, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Dan, you've been building this program to what it is for 13 seasons now. At what point did you realize that Pitt wasn't just building towards something, but had become, one of the standards?
Probably last year. I mean, I think just with us being ranked number one a lot, it shifted from us being looked at as like this new kid to, oh yeah, of course Pitt's going to win, they're number one, and So that was as a progression, but probably last year that was the biggest shift because we were on top for quite a bit.
Ian,
Greg, 1 sec.
Ian Curtis with the Battalion. Coach, with Jamie Morrison being relatively new to the world of college volleyball, what's your relationship with him like? And how good is it for the sport to have some new blood kind of in the Final Four with A&M?
Well, I've known Jamie for a long time, and he's one of my best friends in the coaching world. And his wife used to be an assistant for me. So Jamie's been in my gym. He was a lot, and we've shared information with each other, and so he does bring a unique perspective with how much international volleyball he's been around. What was the second part of the question?
How encouraging is it to get some new? How good for the sport is it to get some new blood?
Yeah, I think it's great. When we have great coaches in college volleyball, and I think I can remember a time when he was trying to get in, and certain schools were questioning how good of a coach he was because he didn't have NCAA experience, and so, which turns out A&M made a good choice.
Greg Eklund for WESA NPR in Pittsburgh. A two-part question. One, you had talked at the beginning of the Final Four last year when you were presented a Louisville Slugger bat, and you had said that you were going to put it in your office. After the result of the semifinal, did you end up putting that in your office?
I did. I think they gave me like 4 bats, so I had to find special bat holders. But I can simultaneously be proud of making a Final Four and disappointed we didn't advance. So I can hold those two thoughts at once.
And the second part of the question is, have you been presented anything here in Kansas City since you've been here?
There was a gift in my hotel. I got a couple stocking stuffers for my kids in the activation room, so we'll see what else comes.
Dan, you made Lincoln O'Neill, Volleyball State. Dan, you made an appeal on Twitter to have Husker fans cheer for you. Mm-hmm. 1, what made you do that? And 2, what's the reaction to that been?
Do you think it worked? Coming in, well, if you look back at our past, Final Fours, only one of them really felt like a neutral. The others felt like we were on a road game. And, at last year, certainly, us at Louisville. And so looking at the bracket, there was, then the driving distance to Nebraska, there was a reality of, okay, there's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be Nebraska fans. And so, that doesn't mean I wouldn't take just the regular Kansas City volleyball fan, but hopefully we'll turn a few and maybe have a little bit of a home court advantage.
Lee Feinstock from 900 Square Feet. Dan, you've been real fortunate in having really good players transfer into your program and helping you through this stretch. But you had to deal with a great one leaving you. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you first, how did you find out and what did you think when Tori Stafford said she was leaving? And go ahead.
Yeah. She called me, after the season ended and told me what she was thinking. And at that point, it was pretty evident that she had her mind made up. And so we had to, pivot pretty quickly. And, I think in January, at one point, we had one outside hitter on our roster. So I'm just really proud of the work my staff did, to get a team in place to be back here. And so, and I also, certainly I was disappointed, but Tori was part of our program for 2 years. She helped us make 2 Final Fours. And so, I enjoyed coaching her, but, there's a lot of stories on this team we're talking about.
Yeah, and to that point, to lose a player of that magnitude and still probably have even a better team, what does that say about the group and how you've maybe balanced things out?
Yeah, I think it says that, we've got a lot of players that love playing volleyball in Pittsburgh. They love the school. And we've got a coaching staff committed, to bringing in the best and putting the most competitive team out there we can. And it would not have happened, without the support of our administration too. We have a newer athletic director that's been incredibly supportive to us. And so, yeah, I'm lucky to be at a volleyball school.
Right there. Got time for a few more.
Darren Tipton, VB Adrenaline. Coach, a little bit of what Lee said with last year, right, number one, losing the semis, the transfer, everybody jumps on Pitt, now's, the downfall, sky's falling, and then...
But not you. You weren't someone that said that.
No, the sky was falling. But the way this team has come back, to put the team together, the season that it's had, has that made this, for you and the staff, is it a little bit more rewarding? Like a little grin, like, hey, everybody, we are that good for you? Does it make it like, hey, everybody, we have had a great year, or a little more special than maybe other teams?
Yeah, every year's a little bit different. So it's hard to compare, because some years are special just because, the early days we kind of, develop players, over 5 years, and, we're able to see players get to a point where they're good enough to be here. And so that's really special. But yeah, if you look at one single calendar year from where we were in January, going, okay, yeah, we knew we had some talent returning, but we had some holes to fill. And, and you look at a player like, like Blair Bayless, who certainly could have gone other places, or, could have, taken the easy road, but she just put her head down and kept working. And it's pretty satisfying to see her, what a season she's had. And so it's hard to compare year to year, but yeah, it is, from where we were in January, it's really satisfying.
Dan, what's been the hardest and the most rewarding part for you in sustaining the success that you have over the past couple of seasons?
Well, we're never, the hardest part is, for me personally, is how much the college landscape has changed. Okay, people are going to schools for different reasons, recruiting's changed. And so, as a collegiate coach, you need to evolve and adapt and embrace it, or you need to get out. And so, for us as coaches, just figuring out how to recruit best and coach and manage players best, in 2025 has been, you can't do it the same way you did 10 years ago. So that's pushed me the most. Then what was the second part?
Most rewarding part.
The most rewarding part is always the relationships. And yes, we're not done. Yes, we have bigger goals, but the best thing as a coach is to see somebody maybe become better, or to do something maybe they didn't think they could do. And to be part of that journey is the best part.